As they say, easy times create weak men. Our persistent state of comfort has led to a generation saturated with apathy, laziness, and ungratefulness. America is not at all the natural state of the world. We neglect the vulnerability of civilization. Since 1914, there are only 8 states left on Earth that have existed and have not had their form of government altered by violent rebellion. They include the United States, the United Kingdom, Sweden, Switzerland, and 4 present or former members of the Commonwealth. Is it sheer coincidence that Black Lives Matter brandishes a fisted logo representative of Marxist revolution? Maybe. But world history has shown us that revolution is inevitable, and it seems as though we are on the cusp of an insurrection.
They bring down a federal courthouse fence. Rioters also setting an American flag on fire. A perfect picture of what they truly stand for and what they believe, watching it go up in flames.
The worst people in our society have taken control. These people did nothing to build America, and now they are tearing it down, viciously. Rioting has persisted for months. Hate crimes have increased dramatically. People are killed for voicing their opinion. We are no longer free. Liberalism is grounded in the idea that human rationale alone is capable of effectively superseding all constraints as a guideline for action. And for the human consciousness to be fully realized, for true freedom, it was thought that the individual would have to be acquitted from all constraints, including those of religion, culture, family, and social norms. Nonetheless, life in the absence of said constraints is convoluted because it is rid of virtue. Virtue is the key to reach a point of self-governance, a state at which the individual is freed from their innate impurities. Because humans are inherently flawed, we cannot check upon our own desires in the absence of virtue. And on that same note, virtue will disappear in the absence of external structures, like the ones previously mentioned, that are necessary towards its cultivation. Hence, we are slaves to our desires. Porn consumption, depression, nihilism, and suicide rates are at all-time highs, while spiritualism, marriage, and happiness are at all-time lows. We've neglected tradition and prudent restraints upon human impulses in pursuit of a freer society. Yet we have effectively become slaves, and its byproduct is an unstable social fabric. We live in sheer isolation, and because of this scarce sense of togetherness, the only thing we have in common is that we have nothing at all in common. Countries don't just hang together by accident. They necessitate a binding substance. In the absence of said binding substance, America is as divided as ever. People say these hard times will pass, that America has endured worse. Sure, but a country can only tolerate so much adversity, right? They say the average lifespan of a great nation is 336 years. For context, the United States is 244 years old. Ostensibly, we are headed towards our utter demise. Well, not necessarily. You see, we are by no means just a great civilization alongside the Egyptians, Romans, and the Greeks. We are the greatest civilization in world history. And while the future may look grim, there is reason to be optimistic. Inheriting the wonderful society that our ancestors died for, and refusing to propagate its existence is egocentric and immoral. The American tradition starts at the Founding Fathers, who were strong, intelligent, competent men, who set in place certain guidelines that were intended to be preserved by subsequent generations of comparable Americans. It is an obligation that we must fulfill, not only for our own self-preservation, and not only for the sake of our posterity, but for purposes of atonement. Patriots died for this country, and we mustn't allow their sacrifices to have been in vain. Irish statesman and philosopher Edmund Burke is quoted saying, "Evil prevails when good men fail to act. And act we must, or else we risk losing our country and all it encompasses. The turbine of world history is moved by action alone. Society needs to move towards good. Otherwise, we will become subject to the whims of dissolute, insatiable, and promiscuous human desires, and we can clearly see how that has worked out. It is time we take back our country.